الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على الأشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد السلام عليك أيها النبي السلام عليك أيها النبي السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. Alhamdulillah, by the grace and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we have gathered here in the masjid at time of Tahajjud, although the weather has been really cold, but alhamdulillah, it is the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has enabled us to bring us here in the masjid and to remember Him. The purpose of this Majlis and Mahfil, as you yourselves know, is that it is not a speech or a bayan session as such, but we actually practice the Muraqabas and the ascension that we learn in the retreats to practice. And also then if anyone has any difficulties, then this is also gets rectified or looked into, as well as seeking any guidance, advice, so they can learn lesson from, and also then apply in our daily lives, and to refresh and to motivate ourselves and increase the yaqeen, the conviction. But just as a reminder, a few points I'd like to mention before we actually proceed with the performing the muraqabas. As we selves know that human beings have been created for a limited purpose. So all of us are limited in every sense of the word. So limited in terms of the life that we live in this world on earth, although the journey of man, the overall lives of man continues in the world of grave and barzakh, the behind the scene, and then from there day of judgment and the life hereafter and so on. But as far as this world is concerned, here and now, our lives and our capabilities are limited. So for example, it is only so much we can eat per day or per meal. If someone, for example, wants to eat maybe 2 portions of a meal, let's say chapati, if they normally eat 3, and you ask them to eat 6 or 8, then they'll say no, it is not possible for us. Likewise, every other aspect that we do. So for example, even sleep, although many people love to sleep for a long period of time, you cannot possibly sleep for 36, 48 hours, 72 hours at a time without waking up and having a break. So even that is limited. Our other daily activities we do and other things that we actually need or enjoy, that is also limited. People who are into sports, who are trained regularly and make themselves very fit and active, even that is also limited period of time. The professional games people watch, it is also period of time, after which our stamina very drastically decreases and our energy becomes less and less. So every aspect of our life of human being, that if you analyze, is limited, and there is a boundary, there's a had boundary beyond which we cannot go beyond. And this is true, does not matter which background you're from, whether you're Muslim, non-Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, faith or no faith, which background you're from, either you're black, white, Asian descent, everything. The human lives, there are certain patterns, certain things we do that everyone is common of. No one is different or distinguished in that sense. No one has any superpowers whereby they can do extraordinary feats beyond our imagination. So we are all in agreement and we accept. So, but unfortunately, the problem is we do not understand or refuse to accept is our desire and our wishes are unlimited. Our desire and the wishes to fulfill that are unlimited. There is no limit to this. So which is, you could say, our nafs, our desire, what it wants is unlimited. So therefore, by that very definition, by that very principle, in this world, we cannot fulfill all of it, i.e. our own selves, our own ego, our desire. We cannot fulfill it, no matter how much we try and how much we spend, even our whole lives. If you just think about that point and really understand, then it opens many doors of understanding and discipline. This one simple fact that helps us to understand this point, that if our lives and our activities, our capabilities and abilities are limited, the only thing is unlimited from us is our desire and our wishes, our dreams that we have, especially of enjoyment. This is by nature unlimited. So therefore, it begs the question, then why do we go after, why do we exert ourselves to fulfill all its desires and wishes? So it gives a few examples. Again, eating and drinking. If, for example, you eat, let's say, 3 chapatis, and let's say you maybe push yourself to eat 5 on that period of time, but maybe your desire and the nafs likes that curry or that meal so much that he wants to eat 10 or 20. But even if you eat 10 and you fill yourself, would that desire be still be there, or would it gone completely for the rest of your life? No, it will be there. Later on, that feeling will come back again. I'm feeling hungry, I want to eat more. So do we go down that path, eating all the time, day and night, and ruin ourselves? No, we limit ourselves. Although there might be desires all the time, but we're not eating all the time as soon as we feel hungry. Likewise, the need and the desire, especially for one of the base desires of a human being, is to actually marry and to have a relationship with the opposite gender. That feeling, that want, that desire to fulfill its needs. Now again, this is unlimited, because this is a desire, this is a wish. This desire and the wish to fulfill this shahwa and the desire of sexual needs is also unlimited. Although we live in a limited world and limited capability. So therefore, if someone now marries 1, 2, 3, 4, and then goes beyond the limits of Sharia, marries 10, 20, even 50 women, then after he has full relationship, na'uzubillah, although I'm just giving an example to make you understand, and then you turn to that person and say, are you now happy? Are you satiated? You don't need any woman anymore. Are you happy with this? If a next woman goes past the 51st lady, would you stop looking at her anymore? Or would you still look at her and still want more and more and more? And if someone is honest, and it's quite obvious, we see in this world, the person will say, no, I've had 50, but that's not enough. I want another 50, or I've been to this town, I want them as well. This is the desire of our own self and the wish that it is unlimited. It just wants it again and again and again, and never be satisfied with a number. So therefore, we should now be wise and think that if these are the things that are unlimited, and we ourselves are limited in this world, limited capabilities, we have to draw a line at some point, then it is wise to come under how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed, how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam have advised and shown us the way. This is the only way we can really become happy and successful. Or else, if for example, we go down the path of trying to fulfill its desire and the wishes all the time, then you yourself will never be happy, never be satiated, never be content, because it's okay, now I've done this, what's next? Who's next? So if you apply this, for example, same idea when it comes to eating, marital relationship, or any other aspect, earning wealth, we agreed not looking at halal or haram, the lawful and unlawful. You just want, and want. Even if you are given a valley, a mountain of gold as a possession, if the greed is not controlled or disciplined under the bounds and the Sharia between halal, distinguish between halal and haram, then why would it stop? Because desire is still there. It's not happy. He wants the second mountain of gold. When you have the second mountain of gold, he wants the third and the fourth and the fifth. Similarly, people who go in the field of politics or want some kind of power and authority and control, rule over people. For them, they're not satiated. They've been, maybe in the head of the state or government for 5 years, then 10 years, and for 15 years, for some countries for 30, 40 years. And even if they violate the rights of the people, and people stand up against that to call upon and say that, look, you're not being fair, or they decide to wish to have someone else in place which may be much better to rule and then serve the people. Majority of the time you see in the world is that they're very, very greedy. They don't want to leave. Rather, they spend their effort, energy, the military force and army to put down its own people, to oppress the old people. Why is it? For 50 years, some people, they're in their maybe 80s or 90s. You think that we should retire and enjoy our life. But it's that greed to actually fulfill the desire to be in power and position and control of people. That never goes away. It's unlimited. The only place this desire and this wish will be fulfilled to its maximum is not here in this world. So if someone does not understand this, he is on a road, she is on a road to failure. Because you're going to hit a rock, you're going to hit a wall, and you realize that what have you been doing wrong. Similarly, if you go to, for example, the addiction, those who are addicted to, for example, drugs or alcohol or even pornography, ask them, are you happy? You might have watched or seen or done thousands of times, taking your the dosage of whichever means of drugs you take thousands of times, millions of times. Ask him after, are you happy? And then surely I can guarantee you they'll tell you, no, I am not. That innate desire to want more and more drives me to it. Some people are so addicted to drugs is that they go into hardened drugs, and after which that's not enough anymore. For some, they have to now have the venom of the snake going through their veins to get that feeling or the kick, whatever they actually enjoy. And as you know, the venom of the snake are so dangerous and poisonous that it could cause you to die. But those people who are so much addicted and they're looking for that need, looking for that desire, looking for that wish to be fulfilled because they're so ingrained in this, they continue. They're even willing to risk their life just for that another moment of this enjoyment, so-called. So they're never happy. Ask him, are you happy? They're not. By that time, they will have sold their possession. They must be doing some kind of petty crime or crime from their own loved ones, to just to get the next dosage or next the drugs that they want to actually take in their system. So one would never be happy. Take this, that if you go on the road, go on the path of fulfilling our own desire and our nafs and our wishes, then you'll be road to destruction. If this principle someone understands and applies in their life, and if someone is wise, that in itself is sufficient to make that change, to turn to those places where you become content and happy. So where is this place where you actually fulfill this desire and this wish that we have, which is unlimited? That is in a realm, in a place, is also unlimited. Khalidina fiha abada. That is in Jannah, that you will live forever and ever and ever. And the enjoyment will continue. Not only continue, will increase in each moment forever and ever and ever. So if you really want to fulfill your own need, want to fulfill your desire and your wishes, then you should really work towards, inshallah, to go to Jannah by Allah's mercy. There you can fulfill your desire and wishes to the maximum. Like so our Mashaykh Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah, they mentioned Ghulabat Tanwi and others, that a man would actually spend having this marital relationship, very close, intimate relationship with his companion in the paradise. The action itself would last minimum of 700 years. They'll enjoy 700 years. They'll be on that enjoyment, which if you want to apply this in your life, then you will fail all the time. Even if you have 700 women, you'll still fail, because you still won't be happy. You still want the next and the next feeling and the next person. So that is why we should really work towards that to find where the place where this becomes fulfilled. And really in this world, if you really want to be contented heart, to become happy, to become peaceful, that whatever you do have, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives it to you, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you, if you want to be content, is really when someone really turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his or in her life, then all the problems even, and all the heartache, and all the headache that we have from people will be free from that, number one. And number two, anything that we desire, we want the content, the inner peace, the tranquility, the solace, we will find that if you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our life. No wonder why the awliya, Mashaykh and the awliya, no matter what state they lived in, not all of them were rich, not all of them were poor as well. But everyone, if you study the lives of the awliya, the companions, the tabi'in, and the awliya, karam ajmain, if you look at all of them, that yes, they have faced difficulties in their life. Yes, they have made to feel hurt and upset in their lives, which will happen throughout the course of a person's life. But yet, inside, in their heart, they were always content and happy. They were not affected, shaken to the core. Is because they actually found Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And really, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most appreciative. Have you ever actually pondered and thought that we are meant to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is our role, our job, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us and the jinnat, nothing else except to worship him, and that worship benefits us and not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even. But even the amals and the deeds, whatever little we do, few movements we do for prayer or for charity or anything else, which inside of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or anyone else has no value, in a sense that they just few movements. We do that anyway. We wake up, we wash ourselves, we go out, have breakfast, go to work. We don't expect people to say, wow, you woke up today, wow, you went to work today. We just take this as part of our life. Yet, if you follow the simple prescriptions, i.e. the salah and the movement we do and other worship, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is appreciative. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shukur is most appreciative. There's not a secret you should really understand, that we don't even appreciate our own selves if someone does a favor or someone we do mundane day to day. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by doing similar actions with a certain intention, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most appreciative. Every deed we do, why is he rewarding us? If he had not rewarded us, then he didn't have to. He's rewarding us every moment we do. We wake up, come to the masjid, we offer our salah. He's rewarding us for this immensely. He's blessing us in this life. He's increasing in our rizq and our provisions. He's giving us blessing and peace in our life and amongst the families. If you ever pondered in a sense that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not required to do these things. We are His servant, we're meant to do it anyway. And yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most appreciative. So that is why we should really think and ponder that then why is it that we find it so hard to worship and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, despite the fact that we do action and movements anyway. People, for example, who go into the evil fields and they actually deal with drugs, na'uzubillah, and all the other evil activities, go involving gangs and mafias, they actually work the socks off, like they say in English, day and night. The lives is at stake, where they're under watch, where one day they can either be captured by the authorities and be punished, or by the rival people who don't like the enemies and gun them down. Maybe they kill them, not only them, the whole families. Despite all these imminent dangers, the day and night are working. If they don't, their bosses and their leaders will be unhappy, will mete out punishment to them. So if you think about their lives, they never think, oh, I'm doing this act now, I should be rewarded for this. But rather they're expected. If you don't, you'll see the harsh punishment from your leaders, from the evil gangsters and leaders. So in one sense, it seems that they're more active and more actually appreciative of what they're doing, because they want to get something at the end. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is being so kind and so merciful and being so appreciative, being ash-shukur, we do not have the same attitude or understanding or turn to Him. So therefore we should really analyze and think ourselves. And going back to what I was saying earlier, is that to really find the peace and content of our heart, to really, to fulfill the desires of the nafs, of the desires of the desires and the wishes, is really to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our life, to go down in His path and in His way. If we have that, and everyone, brothers who are here practicing, who have been to the retreats, we've heard as well from our fellow companions that they've lived a life and it's completely ruins, and come to the retreat and experiencing spiritually have changed and transformed their life. They feel happy and content, although outwardly the lives they live, the family and the work and any other situation they find themselves in, financial situation or otherwise, it's still more or less the same. But the inner peace and happiness you get by coming close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is immense, and you cannot be measured in any way. So one thing we should really understand, that we always say, yes, it begins with finding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it says according to the hadith, my wording is that the best among the humanity and the best of iman, now I'm talking about that how to come too close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how you become contented heart, is the best of amongst the humanity and the best of afdal iman. Now normally we hear hadith that, your iman is not complete. Your iman is not complete if you do not love for your brother what you love for yourself. Your iman is not complete if you love Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than your brother, your father, everyone, even more than your own self. So here is a condition given that if you want your iman to be complete and have the full iman, you must fulfill, love your neighbor, love your brother among yourself, love Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all the other conditions that we hear. But here this hadith is saying that the best of iman, afdalul iman, best of iman, is the best of amongst the humanity, are those who have the ilm, the knowledge, and is refreshed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with him wherever he may be. More and more you have this in every moment, then you have the best of iman, and you feel the content and happy within yourself. Like our Mashaykh Shaykh Sayyid Abdul Aziz and others have mentioned, that many people, they even offer namaz and they offer salah and do all the other worship, and yet it might take him 2, 3, 4 days before they return and be in the presence. Our Mashaykh have say, they very beautifully have put into our purification course and in our practices, in our salah, in our daily activities, that the presence of Allah, Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is seeing me. But it has a huge, like I mentioned this quote of the hadith, that huge backing and significance where all this is extracted from and made easy, put us on a plate. Or like the brother in the retreat have mentioned, is as though a pathway is created to reach the top of the mountain of closeness, the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not hard anymore. The Anbiya, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Sahabas and the Mashayikh and the teacher in this day and age have created a pathway, even an escalator, where you just have to stand and reach to the top. So the best of Iman are those who actually have the fresh knowledge and this thought that Allah is with me no matter wherever I am. And we learn this, for example, in our purification course, and they're going through the stages, and in the retreats as well, and the spiritual gathering. So think about it. We want peace in our life. We want tranquility. And it is only found when you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your most beloved. Make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, prioritize Him in your life more than anything and everything else. Now, because it's a Thursday morning gathering and a special knowledge is actually delivered, and like our Mashaykh and our teacher have mentioned this in the past, and also to just share and refresh ourselves, that this presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I'm talking about now, which is very ala, like we just said, very high and highest level of Iman. This Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me. This presence in the thought level only. That is only a level 1. There's actually 7 levels minimum, at least 7 or 8 levels of presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we are grappling with, try to struggle with having the first one, i.e. Allah is with me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is seeing me. Like I was saying, Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Dabagh, our Mashaykh and our teacher, Shaykh Hazrat Ahmed Dabagh have mentioned, many people, 2 days, 3 days passes before they have this presence. Allah is with me, Allah, we with Him. For some people it takes every day or every other day. Although we are offering our salah, we still absent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people half a day or an hour, so it increases. But can you imagine Allah being so merciful and being so appreciative as shukur, we're still away from Him, even if you're doing a worship of Him. So that is why in this purification course we learn how to actually train ourselves. What I'm saying now is just words and sentences. If you go back and try, you still see that there's a gaps there in your daily activities. So therefore this training that's required is important. Now this is part of the purification course. So number 1, only level 1. So you always hear very Allah. What is the presence? Allah is with me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is seeing me. Allah is hearing me, Allah sees me all the time, and obviously us, everyone. So that's at the only thinking thought level. Number 2 is, with this, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is with me. Also, internally, we talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. We have this conversation. Not only in the presence of Allah, we have this conversation with Him. So it's called in Arabic munajat. So if you really analyze, you find yourself how many times day and night we actually talk to ourselves, to our own nafs. Just analyze this when you go home and your day to day, how much we do talking to our own self. But rather we'll be so much illuminated, so much reward there will be, so much blessings and getting close to in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you actually divert and talk to Him, be in His presence. That's number 2. Number 3 is in all our daily worship, like in namaz, salah, ibadat, recited Quran and all the other aspect, we are in the presence of Allah at the same time as we're reciting and offering our salah. Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me. And at the same time we're doing the internal conversation. So the conversation is there, the presence in the thought is there, and we're doing this in our worship, in our major worship. That's a high level of presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So can you imagine what we're trying to do, establish in our life, and how the awliya and the mashayikh, what levels they're actually mentioning. Number 4 is not only in your worship, that you have the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you internally communicate, but at least all of the major activities you do throughout the day and night, you're in the similar state, i.e. you conversing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are in the presence whilst you're doing your activities as well, daily activities, as well as salah, of course. So that's number 4. So imagine that's maybe half of your day spent like that automatically if you train yourself, inshallah. Then number 5, we have the conviction, for example, that we should purify our organs of our body, our eyes, our ears, our tongue, our private parts, and all those organs. Here what we start to understand is if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is hearing me, then naturally we should develop this haya, this modesty, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me. How can I do this act? Before, in the purification course, as you begin, it's about stopping sins of the tongue and so on. But here you develop this kind of presence and this haya, this modesty, this shyness, that how can I do this sin? Allah is watching me, my organs, my eyes, my tongue, my hands, my feet, and so on. So what happens is you start to apply that, you stop yourself to committing sin because Allah is watching my eyes. Allah is seeing me. He's seeing my eyes. You're conversing with Him. So that hayat that comes in, for example, if our Ustad is here and they're talking, then we wouldn't, for example, go on the phone and start, watching something on YouTube which is not appropriate. We'll be, embarrassed that, oh no, how can I watch this? How can I listen to this? Especially in front of the family or fellow brothers or in front of our Ustads. There's a natural shyness there, something that holds us back. Similarly, if you can develop that way, all 7 organs of our body, because certain presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to do these sins and these mistakes, that stops us. So it comes from the other side now. And I'm not talking about just stopping sin. It's because of the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah seeing me, Allah hearing me, as well as you conversing, you stop your organs from committing sins. And stop your organs to actually go near the sin even, before it goes to that, as much as you can. So that's number 5. Number 6 is then similarly you start to apply the same principle in your mind, whereby you think and you become shameful and worried that how can I intentionally think about sin or evil. One thing is, in the purification, initially we're trained not to think sin and evil. If it comes, okay, let it go if it's not in your control. But within your power, within your control, you should not think evil or plan evil or think about it and plan it out. And we practice it again and again to stop it, and people are struggling. But here is completely from the other side angle, that Allah is with me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is seeing me, I'm conversing with Him. Then how can I even think evil? So even before you stop yourself to actually even think evil, you divert it, because no, Allah's watching me. Allah's watching my brain cells. He's watching the thought process of my mind. He's fully aware of what's going on inside of it. So that's the high level of, you could say, the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where your organs have been stopped because of that presence. Your mind is stopped as well. And to those people, we normally say, and it is true all the time, the principle is any unintentional thoughts that goes to your mind, you're not sinful. Don't worry, let it pass. But intentionally, stop yourself from thinking from evil. There's a techniques we learn in the mind stage, for example. But yeah, this person is going to another level whereby he's not even allowing the negative thinking, the sinful thinking to come to his mind, because he's so much aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being so much modest and has so much haya that he's even stopping coming the evil sins on it before it becomes manifest and gets affected as well. So he completely from the reverse side he is seeing. Now again, number 7, carrying on from that, his inner self, his heart, the qualities of jealousy, pride, arrogance, all the other qualities, is he's actually completely negating that and stopping that, because he's so much in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the haya, and he's humble and saying that how can I have this? How can I be arrogant? How can I have jealousy or think bad about someone and want to go, evil to happen to him and to lose and I should gain? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing my qualities, my inner feelings. So he becomes very, very strong, and so no evil quality remains in that person. because of the sheer presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to me. And there's even a level 8 even higher, that his innermost inner is called sir. His innermost core of the heart, core of the heart, the soul and the spirit is always in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he is not even thinking of anything else. He stays in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much that he doesn't do anything. He doesn't even allow himself to think about anything else except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That anything that he does, so someone who would ask a question, then how can he even live a life in this world? How can he even live in a work and function and all the emotions that go through? Yes, this person also goes through all these things, but his heart, his inner core is so much filled, he doesn't allow anything to come and to affect him. In the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he becomes so settled in him. So what happens is, any activity he does, he only does it in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with his permission. He does it in his presence, with his hukum, his order. By his order, he carries out the act. And all the activities he does of the world, he doesn't do it just merely for his own self, because he wants to enjoy, or he wants to, for example, live a good life for his own pleasure. He does it because it is hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through this he will get akhirah. So what happens is, his dunya, anything work he does in dunya, and the mindset and the niyyah he has, he becomes akhirah for him. So he doesn't remain dunya anymore, is akhirah, because doing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in his presence, with his permission. So then he's getting akhirah to dunya. Many people are using akhirah and the salah and the psalm and the religiosity to gain dunya. Completely opposite, polar opposite. These people are even working in dunya, in the presence and with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fulfilling his hukum, so that they can get akhirah. So this dunya becomes akhirah as well. And then they even leave akhirah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's even higher level. So the Mashaykh have said, really, this 7 or 8 I mentioned, and even if you focus on number 1, this is called Muraqba, thinking. That's what it starts from. And to thinking, like here now in the retreat, then inshallah it goes to the level, and you have the spiritual unveiling, and you start to see some mushahada, witnessing some of the spiritual experiences of the unseen. And then mushahada, if Allah Ta'ala opens further doors, then you get marifa, a great understanding, great inner knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and their closeness of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so on. And then eventually, if Allah Ta'ala blesses, then one gets walayat, the friendship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is just a glimpse to show where we are and what are the inner, how the inner being and the workings of the awliya are. And as a human being, we should always aspire, we should always push ourselves. We should aim for the stars or beyond, aim for the heavens, and inshallah then Allah will bless us something. So really, if a person have some kind of inner presence, like I said, the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then how would that person be ever upset internally in the depth of and the core of the heart? However, how will he be ever unhappy or lack of peace or discord or distress is going through in the inner core of his heart and mind and soul? He wouldn't. He will feel it. Any problems and affliction goes through, he will be hurt and disappointed by. But because he will have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they know how to divert all their emotions, divert all their any distress, any issues they have in their life, and really remain content and happy in this life and inshallah in the hereafter. So yes, if those some of the levels you find it wow and saying amazing that we can never think about, they're just a glimpse of showing. And really, someone goes through training, not just listening to this, step by step, one by one, go through purification course, mind stage, the heart level, and the spiritual experiences we do in the muraqabas, then inshallah Allah will bless us. We rely on Him, inshallah. So inshallah, if you have any quick question, you can ask regarding these things. But really, this is for the muraqabah. We're going to begin shortly now, and inshallah, as your practice, we're going to go through muraqabah. So in this Thursday morning, normally we do not explain or go through the lataif and explain what we're doing now, what we're doing next, the color, the purification of the white latifa, the 7-1 transfer, because normally you should be able to do this now by yourselves, transfer, and we'll give you instruction what to do and go to those muqams and experience, inshallah. But regarding what we said, if you have any quick question just to clarify, then please do ask. If not, then we'll move on, inshallah. What time's the Fajr? 7. Fajr. So Fajr Jamaat, 7:30 still. Acha, mashallah. Okay, so we got plenty of time for that. So any quick questions, anyone? Anything would I mind to clarify what I said regarding the topic we discussed today? So just to summarize, remember, we are a limited being, limited capabilities and abilities, but our desire and our wishes are unlimited, which can only be fulfilled in Jannat, in paradise. So never go down the path of fulfilling our desire to the maximum. You'll never be fulfilled, and you'll never be happy if that becomes your goal, purpose in life. And the only way you can become happy and content in this life, you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you really bring in, and slowly through the process of training, tazkiyah, purification, and the ascension and so on, the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come in your life, inshallah. And then you truly become transformative. You'll see the blessings and peace and enjoy this content and presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our life, inshallah. So this is like a roadmap, you could say, our Mashaykh have pointed to work on, inshallah. Okay, if there's no other question, then we proceed to the next, which is the Muraqba. We're going to do of ascension, inshallah. Jazakallah. Subhanaka Muhammadika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. You have the other mic. Just leave it there, inshallah. So inshallah, in this Muraqaba session, I will do a Muraqaba, the spiritual ascension of Miraj. So inshallah, after the cleansing of the Lataif, transfer, find the teacher, and then if you want to ask anything, seek any guidance, you may do so, and then with them go to like fairs in Morocco, meet Sayyidina Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, or the Mashaykh, then go to Medina Sharif. But specifically, wherever you stop, or whichever Mashaykh you are with, or even the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wherever you can reach, inshallah, then you should ask any guidance in terms of how do I actually maintain my weaknesses or any desires, and so that I do not become derailed or leave, this path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes not become stopped, and the nafs and the desire and the wishes it does not become my main purpose or factor in my life. What are the steps we can do to actually mitigate and stand firm against this, so that I remain steadfast in deen and path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So if you want to seek any advice and guidance regarding this from the Mashaykh, like our teacher Hadrat Sahab and others, inshallah, you may do so. Just for a refresh, because I understand many brothers maybe have attended one or two retreats, so for the maybe slightly new still, just for the quick refresher, I'd like to ask maybe one of the brothers, Brother Siraj, if you can just come and just go through verbally, explain the process, how to start, what to do, protection as scars and so on, and the 7 Lataif transfer, find the teacher, just explain this as a refresher, as a reminder, You can stand up, inshallah. No, you can just mention it so that after when we do collectively, inshallah, they can do their own, inshallah. Quietly, inshallah. So you won't be guided in that sense, just for now, refresher.
Assalamu alaikum. So firstly, when we doing the lataifs, correct our intention that we're here for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you want to refresh the three keys that Allah is watching me, Allah is with me, and Allah is listening to me. So get yourself into that mind state and sort of clear your mind of anything else. And then what you need to do is imagine, do the protection imals, which is Surah Al-Fatiha once, Ayat Al-Kursi once, and then pray the three Quls 3 times in the order, starting with Surah Ikhlas, Surah Falak, and then Surah An-Nas. You recite that 3 times, and then you blow all over yourself, and put it all over your body from top to bottom. And then once you have done this, then you will go through the 3 states. So first, the state of humbleness. So you'll bring a thought of humbleness. So one may think that I'm not worthy of doing this, only through the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I'm doing this, that I can never worship Allah the way He deserves to worship, for example. That's one thought of humbleness. And then once one has come into the state of humbleness, then go into the next state, which is state of gratefulness or shukr. Then think of something good Allah Ta'ala has blessed you with, any sort of blessing, physical, spiritual, any type of blessing. And then once one is in that state, then they'll go into the third state of reliance. Then rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Know that you do not have the ability to travel, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who allows you to travel. Then once you've gone into these 3 states, then one should start the connection amals or startup amals, which is to pray astaghfirullah 3 times, then any Durood Sharif 3 times, and then la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah 3 times. Then once one is sort of in the mindset, maybe refresh the 3 keys once again, that Allah is watching me, Allah is with me, Allah is listening to me. Then you start with the white, then you start with the name of Allah. You imagine that the name of Allah is above you and in front of you, and is in the color white. And then as you breathe in, that the light is coming from the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and penetrating through the head, and as you breathing in, it's coming down and enlightening the whole body. And as you breathe out, you imagine that this light is coming out of the mouth, and you imagine all the negative beliefs, negative emotions, feelings are all releasing, and the body should feel slightly lighter. So you'll keep doing this for a short while, and then after this you will move on to the red latifa, which then is, so you imagine the name of Allah Ta'ala is above you in a red color, and the light is coming as you breathe in through the nose, and then it's coming down the body, and then it is, as you breathe out, it is purifying the red latifa, which is located just underneath the navel area, in the groin area. And as you breathe out, the light is coming through the back. And then you repeat this for the next latifa, which is the orange one. Then you imagine the name of Allah Ta'ala is in orange. As you breathe in, the light is coming through the nose, and as it's coming down, you're breathing out, the light is entering into the orange latifa, which is located on the navel area. And as you breathe out, all the dirt and filth is coming through the back. And then the same is for the yellow latifa, which is located just above the navel area and just below the chest, which is here, just above the stomach. And the same process again for the green latifa, which is in the chest area. And then once you've done that, then it is the light blue latifa, which is in the throat area, spiritual center. And then the dark blue, which is located here. But when you're doing the dark blue latifa, you imagine as you're breathing the light in through the nose, it is coming directly to the forehead, and it is leaving from the back. So when you come to the dark blue latifa, from the name of Allah, you imagine the light's coming as you breathe in, it's coming directly into the forehead, and it's leaving from the back. And then with the white latifa, you imagine that the light is coming directly above the head, and it is leaving from the back. And then once you have done all the 7 latifas, then you imagine that the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still shining in white, and as you breathe in, it is coming through the head again, and it is illuminating the whole body with light everywhere. And as you breathe out, you can imagine the body is getting lighter and all the latifas are being purified. And you'll keep doing this, and as you're doing this, you imagine that your body is getting lighter and disappearing by each breath. The legs are disappearing, the arms, the body, everything, until the whole body is disappeared. And then all that remains is just the spiritual centers. Then with each breath you keep taking, you breathe in and out, you imagine that each spiritual center is disappearing. So starting from the red, all the way up red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, white, and all that's left is your soul and your conscious. Then what you do is then you'll imagine that your spiritual body is in front of you, and then when you're ready you'll take the golden breath and you'll transfer and then find the teacher, and then from there, as Ustaad has mentioned, then you'll follow the journey.
So what you do is spend about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes maybe maximum, going through the Lataif processes, transfer, so shorter version is fine. Go through each one, transfer, and then spend another next 20-25 minutes just being with the mashayikh, going to different maqams, Madinah Sharif or even beyond. Go with the flow, don't hold yourself back, and also when you get opportunity, appropriate time, seek guidance, how to remain steadfast in deen, how to actually stand against our desire, our nafs and our wishes, and remain true to the path and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it does not deter us from any way, inshallah, along those lines, inshallah. So inshallah, just a refreshing intention, maybe close your eyes and initially just begin with the after rectifying the intention, you begin with the protection adhkars, then the 3 thoughts, and like Brother Ustad Siraj have said, do go to the start of adhkars. So I'll indicate each time so that people are reminded. And then once the Lataif process starts, the 3 stages, remember, stage 1 is just purifying everything, the breathing out is coming out through your mouth. Stage 2 is the 7 individual ones, going through your nose, going through Lataif, and then going directly to your blue, dark blue and the white. And 3rd stage is again flowing all the way inside, and as you breathe out, body is getting lighter, body is disappearing, the Lataif are disappearing, speech body, transfer, find the teacher, and then continue from there, inshallah. Okay, inshallah, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, just recite the protection adhkar, inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Amin. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وخلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. بسم الله. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق. أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو واحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق غاسق إذا وقب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس مالك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. go through the three thoughts: humbleness, thankfulness, and the reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آله محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. السلام عليك أيها النبي. السلام عليك أيها النبي. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا إله إلا الله. 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 You can recite with me inshallah. لا إله إلا الله. 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. الله 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 Allah, 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 La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Inshallah, now begin with the first stage Latifa, then second and third, and then transfer. Spend about 15 or so minutes, then transfer, and then seek guidance, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. inshallah. Now slowly return wherever you are with the mashayikh, inshallah, back to the masjid here. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الله أكبر. استغفر الله. So inshallah, now once you return, you can open your eyes and relax, inshallah. MashaAllah. I think we still have about 10-15 minutes, so if one of our brothers, just anyone would like to share any advice, guidance, or any experience, please do so. Also, anyone, if you have any difficulties, then please avail the opportunity now to ask and clarify things as well, inshallah. So just put your hand up, and brother Umair will come with the mic, inshallah. Just not the whole details, you can do if you want, but also specifically any advice, any guidance, any nasihat as well, inshallah. Yeah, can just ask the brother, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Lataif yeah, वहाँ मैं stuck हो जाता हूँ, can't go further after that, can't transfer myself.
Okay. When the Ustads in the retreat were doing it step by step, were you able to follow them?
Everything. Yeah.
Inshallah, what you should do is at the thought level, just carry on, inshallah, because that was the beginning point. So for example, what you do is as like imagine the Ustad explaining, or you thinking, okay, now is the white one, now is the red one. At the third level, breathe in, light is coming through your nose, going down, going to the red one, then breathe in, then the orange, yellow. Can you do this in your thought level?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a good, mashallah. I would like you, inshallah, until you meet again, maybe next week, in a couple of weeks time or whenever, that I would like you to just to do these levels at the thought level. And inshallah, normally we advise that before we come, do 2 rakah salatul tawbah, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness, clear your mind, clear your heart, everything. Sit in a comfortable place, you're fresh, and at the third level do it, inshallah, all the way, transfer. You know Hadrat Sahib teacher, third level, find the teacher and then continue, inshallah. So this, inshallah, your task for next 2 weeks, inshallah. Even at third level, don't worry, oh, I'm not seeing, or it's not happening. Like you have said that you can do it in third level, I want you to begin this at the third level, inshallah. And then you see how it's happening, inshallah, how things are going, inshallah. Allah. Anyone else? Mashallah. Thank you, Jazakallah.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I wasn't be able to transfer through the
If you
spiritual.
like, just slightly slowly, because it's equi, slowly one by word, if you mention then.
I went through the Lataifs and it was okay, but when I was doing the golden breath, I wasn't be able to transfer to the spiritual.
Just one second, is it possible to turn on the echo? Sorry, just